Hi everyone, I'm Damon, and this is my project on overfishing and what it could mean for the future of our planet. Before we completely get into the topic of overfishing though, we have to elaborate further on what overfishing actually is. When we as humans, we fish at a rate faster than what they can replenish. Meaning we don't give them time to mate, and we don't give them time to have children and for the children to properly mature before we go and fish and get more of them. An analogy that I like to compare it to is a boxing match. If you've ever seen any boxing match, how that functions is the boxers, they get 3 minutes to fight in one round, and then they get 1 minute rest, right? So comparing that to fishing and overfishing, the boxing match is us fishing them, right? It's just gonna happen. We need them to eat, people need fish. They need to eat fish to survive in certain places. That's fine. But the problem lies in where we don't give them their 1 minute to rest, right? Because with boxers, if you don't give them the 1 minute to rest, then you're just fighting for like 30 minutes straight, and no one can do that properly. You need to give them a minute to rest for it to be a proper and entertaining fight. But us, we're not giving fish that time to rest. We're fishing and fishing and fishing and fishing, and then we're expecting the juvenile fish to mate and then make more fish for us to fish, but it just doesn't work that way. We need to give them time to rest, and that's just not what's happening. Places like China and Japan are some of the most egregious contributors to overfishing in the world. In fact, 1/3 of global fish consumption can be attributed to China. Japan isn't too far behind. Fishermen in Japan often seek out to catch the largest fish in hopes of selling it for a high price at an auction. Overfishing has gotten so bad in places like China and Japan that they've had to outsource their fishermen to other oceans because their seas were being depleted of fish. Some of the organisms who have actually been the most affected by overfishing and bycatch have been the predators of the ocean. Natural predators are an essential part of every ecosystem, making sure they keep certain species in line, preventing them from overpopulating. According to the World Wildlife Foundation, an estimated 100 million sharks are killed each year due to overfishing and bycatch. I believe that these numbers could potentially be drastically reduced if the proper measures are taken. One method that I've studied that could possibly decrease the number of sharks killed due to overfishing and bycatch is the concurrent net, which I will now explain and demonstrate. So one alternative to overfishing is an invention called concurrent nets, which is basically, I'm going to demonstrate it now. Let's say that you're fishing for wild tuna, and you're fishing for mackerel, any small fish, and you have sharks in the area, and this white rice is going to demonstrate the small fish you're trying to catch, and these pumpkin seeds are going to demonstrate the shark. They're much larger, but they're in the same area. Now, I'm going to fill this one container with some of the mackerel, and I'm going to mix it up a bit, put a few sharks in the mix, and then a little more fish, so you really don't know where they are. Same as fishing, they could be anywhere, and you don't know what you're going to catch. Put a few more, and then add a few more sharks, and then just cover it all with a bit more mackerel. So now it's completely mixed up. They're in random positions, you don't know where the sharks are, where the mackerel are. So how these concurrent nets will work is you take one layer of netting and put that over a second layer of netting. The first layer of netting will be finer than the second. The second layer will be finer than the first, and I'll demonstrate why. So this will simulate the net catching. And then after a bit of work, The sharks are completely separated from the mackerel. So now, you just let the sharks go, and you caught the fish you needed. And that's how concurrent nets work. More advanced versions of these nets actually have small ring lights to actually guide the smaller fish and show them where to swim out of. In conclusion, I feel that the fight to combat overfishing worldwide might be difficult, but is entirely possible. It might take a little bit of ingenuity and hard work, but the problem with overfishing and fish being depleted could be turned around in due time.